Okay, friends, so really quick before I jump into the process, I do want to show you a quick tutorial on what I did to get started for this page. I said in my chit chat video that I was going to try to do some like little hybrid processes here and there and show you the smaller ways that you can make your digital supplies go further, because I do know that some people think hybrid's really challenging and it doesn't have to be. So here's a few things that I assembled. Wow, thanks Photoshop. Let's just ignore that. Here's a few things that I assembled before I went to the printing process, which is typically how I scrapbook. I open Photoshop, I do a few things, and then I go to the printing process. So here's my journaling for my layout. Sorry if you can hear my printer. I just can't deal with it right now. But here is my journaling for the process. So what I did was I set this up on an 8 by 8.25 canvas because I'm going to do a flip out page. And I use some guide rules to help me space out my journaling. So this is a digital stamp from the stamp kit if you have the digitals. And then what I did was I divided the page into 5 sections. If you're using, I'm not sure if this is the same for Photoshop Elements as it is for Creative Cloud, which is what I'm using. But if you grab here, you can drag this down and create guide rules. So this is what I like to do if I'm doing any sort of journaling, like if I'm doing any sort of list style journaling. I like to use this to help me evenly space out my story so I know I have enough space. And then I'm leaving a space here because you'll see when I get to the process that I'm going to use some of the rose gold pinked circles to number my list. At first, I thought about using the actual numbers, but I decided to use those rose gold pinked circles. And then for the front of my flip out, I actually took a journal card and made it a 4 by 8 canvas. I'm going to quickly show you how to do this because it's normally really easy. But this particular card has texture in it, so it took a little bit longer. It just takes one extra step, but it's nothing crazy. So we are going to, I really wish my printer would stop making noise. Sorry if you guys hear that. But we're just going to select this and we're going to paste this on a canvas. And I have a canvas that is set up to be 4 by 8 and 4 by 8.25. Okay, so I have my layer now here. And so when you do the marquee tool, first of all, you want to make sure that this is centered, which is what these purple lines are telling me that it's centered. Then you want to switch to the marquee tool. Make sure that the layer that you want to use is selected. And then you're going to select a really thin strip of this, making sure that you're not getting any of the text. Select, you right click and hit layer via copy. And you're going to get a layer that just has see, you just have that fun pattern. Now, I like to merge my layers, so I now have a bigger piece to work with. So I merged those 2 layers. Now I can select an even thicker strip of it, and then it just becomes really easy. So same thing, select it, layer via copy, then you have your new layer. So now you have your new layer, and then you can just do this over and over to fill up your canvas, and that is how I got to here. So a really quick hybrid tip if you're not used to working with journaling cards and resizing them. And now we'll get to the process. I hope that helped. Hi friends. So here are the pieces for my project today. And I was really, this is not 8 inches. Oh, I gotta trim this. I thought I trimmed this enough, but this is not 8 inches. I was really inspired by the 3 by 4 card that just said stories of kindness and had like a list. And that is what prompted this page that I'm making. And if you haven't seen the kindness kit, here is what, where's that card? Okay, this here, oh God, perfect. Here's what the card looks like. So I actually just took the digital stamp, and I made my own version of it. And like I showed you in the beginning, this is an 8 by 8.25 canvas, and I'm scoring it right down the middle. This scoreboard is one of my favorite tools in my craft room. It's literally one of my favorite things. So here is the photo. It's a photo of my mom, my sister, and I. And the story that I'm telling is about the stories of kindness I've learned from the women in my family. I feel like I've said this before, but my sister, I might not have said this here because I don't remember the last time I made a video, but my sister is literally one of the like kindest and like gentlest people I know. And so every time people tell me, oh my God, every time people like compliment me for being kind, like I instinctively just tell them I got it from my mama and I got it from my sister. So I decided to do a layout about the women in my family. Just making sure I stick this down straight before I make a mess. Okay, perfect. So this photo was actually taken on Mother's Day in 2017. So it is an old photo. It is not at all relevant to the story that I'm telling. I just really like the picture. My paper trimmer is falling apart. I just really like the picture, so that's why I'm using it. And now we're gonna trim it. I wanted to stick it together before I trimmed it, but wow, my paper trimmer is really falling apart. I ordered one on Amazon, but with shipping being what it is, I don't know if I'll ever get it. So we're gonna trim this to 6 3/4, and I measured it in Photoshop. So when I trimmed it and I punched holes, I was not in danger of like cutting anyone's face off, because that's like the worst thing ever when you make like a really nice layout and then you go to finish it and you've like cut someone's face in half. So there we go. So that's what that looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and score this. I mean, not score it, fold it on its score line. And now I realized when I printed this that my journaling is a touch longer than my photo, but that's what paper trimmers are for, so I don't worry about stuff like that. I'm quickly gonna trim this down, and then we're gonna go back to assembling the rest of our page. See, that was a quick fix. So here's where we are so far. So in the album, here's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be a picture of the three of us, and then when you flip it out, there's gonna be the story. And then again, I showed you in Photoshop how I made this, and this is going to be the cover. So this is gonna cover that white space so it doesn't just stick out. And same thing, when I size this, I size this to match this, which is not the right size. So I'll have to trim that down. But I'm just gonna quickly assemble this and trim that off, and then I'll come right back for like the embellishing and like finalizing this page. So like I showed you in the Photoshop's little tutorial, like obviously the coloring is never going to be the same when you print it at home versus like a professional printer, but you kind of can see that I still have the texture that's in this original card, because instead of just doing like a color sampling, I actually just copied and pasted the elements of the card over and over, so I got to keep that texture that you had in the card, which I was really, really excited about, because I love that all the cards in this kit, like even this one, have this fun like fabric texture in it, and I love it so much. Okay, so now we're gonna work on embellishing and finishing the page. So I really want to use this huge Be Kind piece and put it right here. And then, like I said in the Photoshop section, I was going to use these pinked circles to kind of number my list. Like I'm not really numbering my list, but just to kind of separate it so it just doesn't look like I want it to look like a list. So I'm just going to use these rose gold pinked circles. Oh my god, I almost dropped that. I'm going to use these rose gold pink circles to show that it's a list. And so I'm picking I mean, honestly, you could use any of these for this particular project, because they all say things about kindness, which is what I'm journaling about. I'm obsessed with the kindness kit. Like, I don't know if I felt this, I don't know, I think the last time I felt this way about a kit was You, which honestly wasn't that long ago. Like, let's be honest, I think You was February, but every now and then you get a kit where it just like stops you in your tracks, and I really feel that way about kindness. Also, I honestly think the world can use a few more stories about kindness right now. Like, let's be honest, the world is a scary place right now, and I think we could all use celebrating kindness. So, I mean, I feel like, I think I was talking to someone about this. Like, I'm not sure if Ali like has like some sort of psychic connection to the future where she knows what we're going to need before we know it. But I hope it lasts, because every single time, like, progress came right when I needed it. Kindness is here right when I needed it. I'm going to put a sticker. Ooh, kindness starts here. I like that one a lot. So for my journaling, like I said, I just made a list about this, like how I've learned, like what I've learned about kindness from the woman in my family. I'm very fortunate to be connected to so many kind people. And so that's what I journaled about. So I journaled about how like my sister's a teacher and she's a caregiver, and my mom's an encourager and a nurturer, and they've taught me how to be kind to others and how to be kind to myself. And that was my journaling. I really like this rose gold situation here. I think that's super fun. And I don't want to put anything raised on the inside because I do want this to lie flat in the album, but the outside is fair game. So I think the easiest way to attach this would be with a staple, because then I don't have to worry about adhesive peeking through. So I think I'm just going to go with a staple. Before I do that, I am going to punch holes. So where is my hole punch? And I'm still using the same 6-hole punch that I've been using forever. I always link it in the description box because people always ask me what hole punch I use for Ali's albums. People always ask me what hole punch I use for Ali's albums. I get this one on Amazon. It's about $20. You can use it on pretty much any 6-hole album I've seen. You can use it on the Citrus Twist Life Crafted albums. You can use it on the Studio Calico albums, on Felicity Jane. It's just a really good 6-hole punch to have in your stash if you enjoy working in 6x8 like I do. Okay, so you see, I've made sure to measure it before I cut it so there are no holes and there are no cut lines in anybody's faces. And oh my God, I love this so much already. Okay, so we're gonna just go ahead and staple this down. I think I'm gonna go with 2 staples, one on this side of the K, and then one on the side with the D. That is, I think that's enough to hold it in place. And then any kit that has felt hearts in it, any kit that has felt hearts in it is automatically speaking my language. Like, we don't even need to debate, we don't need to ask questions. If there are felt hearts involved, automatically speaking my language. I'm going to use this, well, I wanted to use the navy to pull the blue over here, but it's too big. So I'm gonna go with the blue, this greenish color, which is a similar tone, not the same exact color, but it's a similar tone. And then I think I might just add a little bit of chipboard. Let's see. Let's pull this out. Let's see. I want to use a heart and some chipboard, and then I want to use a heart and some chipboard on this side, just so we're repeating those elements. So I could use 2 hearts, and then, oh, I'm using like all my hearts right now. Does this happen to anybody else where you like use up a bunch of supplies on one layout and it just makes you sad? Because that is what I'm going through right now. I do want to put this kindness arrow though, so we remember to flip it open. I'm using up all my hearts on this one page, and I mean, I know that we have supplies to use them, but man, I want to hoard felt hearts forever and ever. I do not know, like, I've seen people make their own felt hearts like this with the thread. I cannot sew a straight line to save my life, so I'm definitely not like die cutting and sewing felt hearts like this. I do rely on other people to make them. Actually, here we go. Guys, if you guys know of a seller that makes felt hearts like this with the stitch thread, please let me... Are those two gonna stick to each other? I don't know if these two are gonna stick on top of each other. I might have to find some other adhesive. We're gonna leave it like that and see what happens. But if you guys know of a seller that sells felt hearts like this with the stitching detail, please let me know in the description, because that'll make me feel a lot better about using... Actually, do not let me know in the description. I do not need... This happens to me every time. Okay. Do not let me know in the description. I do not need any more supplies. I need to use up what I have. So don't tell me. Even if you do know like the best felt heart maker in the entire world, please don't tell me, because I don't need any more supplies. I will just use up what I have like I should use them. The other thing I went just playing around with the idea of is using one of these rose gold pink circles on the outside, since I have them on the inside, so I could do something like that. Actually, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna glue one of these down, just so we're tying in the elements from the inside to the outside. I do think I'm gonna put a staple through this heart though, because I don't know how well it'll stick to the plastic underneath. And then I'm gonna add another piece of chipboard, so we're, you know, repeating the same elements all through the layout, so that things again are repeating. That's pretty much the way I design my pages. I like having repetitive elements because I think it helps tie the whole page together. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this one that says thank you, because it has, so I have a heart, I have this piece that says you made me smile, and then I'm gonna add a piece of chipboard that says thank you, and I'm pretty sure that that is gonna complete this kind of spread. Let's just put this piece down, see how we feel about it. Okay, I like that very much. I do want, good, we have these chipboard hearts. I'm gonna put a chipboard heart. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I do want one more thing, just because this space right here feels empty. So I'm gonna put a little, one of these little chipboard circle heart things right here to fill in that space. And I'm gonna put another one underneath. Just because I like working with odd numbers. I think there's like design theory that say that odd numbers is more pleasing to the eye. I'm not sure if I'm making that up, but I just prefer odd numbers. So here I have an even number of embellishments, and that's going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to put a fifth piece right there. So now I have an odd number here, an odd number here, and an odd number here. So I think, you guys, that's the kindness layout done. I love how this came out. One of my favorite things about Ali and her products is how low maintenance scrapbooking can be. Like, you start with story, start with a photo and start with story, and then these products are just designed to augment your storytelling. And so I love how like easy these pages can be to put together. Like, I spent maybe 10 minutes in Photoshop, like figuring this out, and then maybe 10 minutes at my desk, and I have what I like to think is a pretty spread that goes in my album. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of storytelling using the kindness kits. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this layout in the comments. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. I am back and better than ever. Oh, and if you've missed my update video, I uploaded it yesterday. So go to my profile so you can see my chit chat update video where I can talk to you about what my plans are for the rest of the year. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. Keep it crafty and have the best day. Bye.